Happy brunch. Hello, everyone. How are you? How is everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome, everyone. My hair is a little messed up because I just got out of a shower. It's not dry enough to brush. Yes. Yes. Oh, dear. There we go. Good enough. My goodness. How is everyone? Are we good? Does everybody have their parachute? Parachutes, everyone? Yes? Maybe? Well, I don't know. People want to know if it's time to get the hooey out of here, as they say. You know, time to run for the hills. Yes. I don't know. Come on now. Is it that bad? Oh, have the bad people taken over again? Again, we always have to have revolution. Revolution is necessary, my darlings. Think on the bright side. You get to be part of the revolution. Yes, a revolution. That is what we need, a good old fashioned revolution. All right. So, first things first, these are the wonderful people who have decided to become members of La Show, the channel. And gosh darn it, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As everybody makes their way to the stream, we just want to take a moment to look at all these amazing people who have decided to join this channel. For people who don't know about some of the cool stuff you get to have when you join this channel, we do have free readings, first comes, first served. That's how we do it here. On Saturdays, noon, I usually post a link for members a couple of hours beforehand. And I try to read as many people as I can, but if you don't have your question in by 12:45, I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to get to your question. But yeah, so thank you everyone who has decided. I want to just make sure this is a download of everybody. Look at all those wonderful people. Look at them. Isn't that cool? Somebody said, you didn't include my name. Yes, we did, because this is a download of my list on YouTube. So you gotta look. It goes by quick. But this is every single wonderful person. And as you can see, we got a lot of cool people that are here supporting us. So that is the story. That is the glory. That's all that and a bag of chips. If you are one of us, we thank you. We thank you so gosh darn much. It is appreciated. All right. So how is everybody? Did you see your name? Rebecca, did you see your name? Cheetah? K-Travel, did you see your name? Jiggy Pardo? Lord? Joel, I hope so. All right, thanks for being here. We're going to hang out. We're going to have brunch together. I am having my favorite Dr. Whimsy protein shake. Protein and Greens by Paradise, the most nutrient-dense protein shake I've ever found. Check it out on Amazon. I don't get paid, but I do know what is good. Look at how pretty that is. It's all, I put some berries in there. I put some walnuts in there, maybe some hemp seeds. I like arugula. Not everybody likes arugula. I put some arugula in there. Yum, yum. I put some oat milk in there and some Ripple milk to increase the protein. And to make sure that my gut health is good and my skin is good, I put in a little collagen gelatin. That adds about 10 grams. There's vegan, there's fish gelatin, there's all kinds of ways to get gelatin or collagen without eating animals. Well, if you like fish, if you don't want to hurt the fish, you can do a plant-based. But anyway, I think this is the most nutrient-dense thing that you can put in your body. So I always promote it as part of my nutritarian lifestyle. Last night I made hummus from scratch, put too much lemon juice in it, but that's okay. And I made homemade whole grain pita, whole wheat pita. Wolfed that puppy down last night. Yum, yum. Anyway, so good to see you here. Be sure and say hi to everyone here as we extend our brunch table to the four corners of the earth. This is my brunch table, and I would like to join it with yours. Be sure and turn to the people next to you on this brunch and tell us who you are, where you're coming from. We'd like to know who you are. Tell us what you're eating. Tell us what you're drinking. How's things going on where you're hanging? Kay Travel let me know. I was thinking of going out for a walk today, but she's informed me that I won't be doing that. Kay is a close friend of mine. She's also a cat sitter for Mila. Any questions you have about Mila, refer to Kay. No, she's telling me that it's going to be 96 to 97 degrees here. Oy, gewaltig mir. Kay! Does that mean I ain't going nowhere? Shoots. I'm going to Guatemala in 2 weeks. That'll be fun. Yeah, evidently it's cool in Guatemala. It's going to be about 75 degrees. And I'm also going to go to Antigua and buy some coffee. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds all right to me. Looking forward to that. Yeah, so let's turn the camera around and say hi to everybody. We've got a brand new member, Nikki Broadwell 8288 has become a member, and per my commitment to all of you, I will be singing a song personally written for you. That's right, babe. Personally written for you every time you become a member of this channel. And so, without further ado, Nikki Broadwell 8288. Nikki Broadwell 8288 has become a member. She's become a member. We're very grateful. Nikki Broadwell 8288. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, a brand new fairy or angel, or perhaps she's an elder and an empath. If you join the elders and empath level, you get to join our classes as part of our mystery school. We have a mystery school we started. We get together at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And that link, we usually put up a couple hours before I go live. And we're doing Introduction to the Tarot. We're doing Introduction to the Tarot. It's a 12-week course. We have finished the minor arcana, and we have finished the midterms. Congratulations to everybody who attended our midterm class. Hopefully you all did well. So today we are starting the wood element in Chinese medicine, which is the staff, wands, and they're associated with time and space, right? And the time is the spring, right? When things grow. This is why readers attach time to the wands. We can see time with wands. The wands are the only suit in the tarot that are alive and grow. And so they are bound to time and space. And so anytime you see a wand, you want to think, this is talking about time and this is talking about space. That's a little bit of an intro to the energy of the wands. In Chinese medicine, it is the wood element, but also the fire element. The wood element and also the fire element. And that's because wood feeds fire. Isn't that interesting? Wood feeds fire. So when we think about aggravations of wood, we're thinking of the organs, liver and large intestine. We're thinking about sinews. We're thinking about the eyes. You know, I have a couple clients that are having eye challenges post-COVID, and that's because viruses can get into the liver and it can impact the eyes. The meridian, the liver meridian and the gallbladder meridians are affected as well. And when we have congestion of the liver, we'll sometimes see eye challenges. And when we have heat rising, right, the heart, blood, small intestines, and vessel, the wood is feeding the fire. And this is why liver congestion, like in PMS, for example, we'll start to see anger, congestion, and rage as we have an aggravation in liver and these elements of wood and fire, also associated with the wands. And it's another way to approach the tarot and how people used the tarot in order to connect with possible physical ailments in the body of the client, the patient. We can see here Earth, which is associated with pentacles and the earth signs, mouth, stomach, muscles, and spleen. Metal and air is associated with the swords, and that impacts the lungs, the intestine, nose, and skin. Water is the cups. Kidney, bladder, bone, and ears. The emotions are fear. With heart and blood, it's joy. With lungs and intestine, it's grief. Isn't that interesting? Mouth, stomach, spleen, we think about hunger, right? Hunger. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Everything is connected. Everything has a season. And we don't usually think about the tarot in those terms, do we? We don't think about it as being connected to the body, right? Connected to the organs, the meridians. But it's another way to see just how expansive the tarot is as a system of reading and connecting with your client if you are a reader. I want to give a special shout out to the amazing Joel Tilson. Joel Tilson is here with us today. Joel Tilson has been officially declared the floor director for the channel. He comes here as often as he can when he isn't committed to his grandchildren and his beautiful family. He usually can be here, and we're very appreciative of him. So yes, what do you guys think about Putin coming to the United States and specifically Alaska? Do you think that Putin, here's an interesting conversation for us to start with. As you start to stream into our brunch, make sure you can share, like, and subscribe. But let's open up that conversation. Do you think that Putin is making a statement by having the meeting take place, first off, in the United States, and secondly, taking place in Alaska, a former territory of Russia that was sold to the United States sometime in the 19th century? Yeah? So, on that note, why do you think that Putin might be interested in Alaska? What does Alaska have that Putin wants? Any resources you can think of? Do you think that Putin is so crazy he wants to conquer the world? Do you think he wants to be the next Stalin? Discuss, discuss. And as you do so, I shall take a sip of water. Do you think that Putin has dirt on Trump available via the black market? Any buyers? Do you think anybody in the intelligence agency may be willing to broker a deal for contraband on particular people in high profile positions for a price? Do you think he's so insane that Putin thinks he's going to get Alaska? Or is he the sanest person in the room? Does he know more than we do? How many pro-Russians are in our intelligence agency right now? How many Russian operatives? People working for the Qatari government, the Iranian government, the Chinese government. Have we been bought and sold already? Has America been bought and sold already? Who owns America? If the intelligence agencies are compromised because they're selling information to the highest bidder, if these kinds of dirty deals are going on with high-profile individuals who've been compromised, who owns America? Discuss. Does America have the capacity to arrest Putin when he comes into the United States? Discuss that. How's that for and what are the chances we're going to do it? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that we're seeing things we're seeing things that are disturbing, and we need to keep talking about them until people stop calling us crazy, right? The person who speaks the truth and then everyone calls them crazy, and then you keep telling the truth and you keep showing evidence, and then they start to get angry at you. They go from calling you crazy to calling you evil, right? This is first it's denial, right? Then it's anger, right? Then it's fear. Then it's depression and acceptance, right? What are the stages of grief and death, right? Where is the average American in this process? By the time you know what I have done, it will already be too late. Isn't that what Putin said to us when we asked about trade routes with Putin? It will already be too late because I will have taken everything. I will have taken your intelligence agencies. I'll take it all, right? And there's nothing you can do about it because it will be too late. Let's take a look. Let's take a look what the Oracle of Whimsy said. We're going to watch a little bit of this. And then we're going to turn around and talk about it. This was shot 6 years ago. We're going to be watching a video today that was shot 6 years ago because I want everybody to know where we are at. Do I look younger? This is the first question. Discuss. Does Whimsy look younger? Okay. 2019.
Sensitive people. So, all right. So this is a really complicated remote. I was wary to do it, but once I do it, I'm going to be over with it, and then we won't have to do it ever again. So this is a remote on Vladimir Putin and seeing into the mind of Vladimir Putin. It is an incredibly unusual world you're about to enter right now. Yes. All right, so the first time that I attempted to, I did my meditation, got into a very relaxed state, and it was kind of interesting. The first thing I saw the lights of Moscow, and it was beautiful. I saw Moscow, and I saw Moscow at night. and the lights of Moscow shining on the rest of the world. And so this is the way that Putin sees Moscow. He sees Moscow as the redeemer of the world, that the lights of Moscow will shine on the world, and that the sun will never set on the Kremlin. The sun will never set on Russia. This is the true destiny of Russia. The true destiny of Russia is that the sun will never set on Mother Russia. And he believes that the true church, the holy church that will govern the world, the true destiny of the church of Russia is to bring a light to the rest of the world. So the lights of Moscow will be a light to the rest of the world, bearing the torch of the true church, which is the Russian Orthodox Church, but a specific sect, an ultra-Orthodox version of the church. And Putin believes that he is the prophesied person that will save Russia and bring the light of Russia to the rest of the world. And so in his small community of believers of this extreme version of Russian Orthodoxy, he perceives of himself as the prophecy. He's the chosen one who is destined to bring the lights of Russia to the rest of the world. It's his destiny, and it is the destiny of Russia and the true church to do this. So that is the first vision. The second vision I saw was trade routes, and that is really important for people watching this channel who want to understand Putin. You have to understand trade routes and trade partners. And so I am going to be showing you photographs of maps or images of maps so that you can understand the trade routes that we're talking about. And these trade routes go back hundreds and even thousands of years. And if you're looking at Russia, Russia has two areas that they are attempting to get their trade out. One is through the Caspian Sea and the other is through the Black Sea. Now, the trade partners traditionally that Russia has had in the area is predominantly Iran, and it's been trading on the Caspian Sea with Iran for some time. This is why Russia is an ally of Iran and Syria, because of trade. Now, America, our ally in the area is Saudi Arabia and Israel. So if you're looking at the map, you can see this is that no man's land is Syria. And what Putin is trying to do is he's trying to create oligarchs all over the world. He's trying to prop up governments all over the world that will allow the lights of Moscow to shine on the world 24 hours a day. Now, what has happened between the United States and Russia with the Cold War is that we are trying to block each other's trade routes, and we've been pretty good about blocking Russia's trade routes. And this is a source of incredible frustration and anger for Vladimir Putin because he just wants to get his trade out. One of the areas that we blocked, I'll give you an example of one of the areas of frustration for Putin. The Magnitsky Act, when we blocked trade, we all know about that. They retaliated with stopping Russian adoption, Americans adopting Russians. Everybody knows about that. But there are other things that Americans don't know about. For example, Putin was negotiating a deal with Libya to build a train system starting in Tripoli that would go into Africa. Because I got the hit, I did the remote, and then I started to Google, like, what am I seeing? So he had a relationship with Libya. It was a multi-billion-dollar contract, and he was going to be able to begin building in Tripoli, and then that was going to allow him to also open trade from Tripoli all the way into Africa. And it would have been good for Africa because Africa desperately needs infrastructure. Obama bombed Tripoli, and we took out Putin's trade person in Libya. We took out we basically destroyed the Libyan government, and this was we were heavily pressured that by Saudi Arabia, our ally in the area, because the Saudi Arabians have been at war. The Shia and the Sunni have been at war for, I think, since the 6th or 7th century. This is how long the the Saudis, who are the keepers of Sunni Islam, and the Kabul in Mecca, they have been the keepers and the protectors of Sunni Islam. And the Shia are the protectors in Iran. The Persians are the protectors of Shia. So they have been at war for over 1,000 years. We sided, when it came to trade routes, with the Sunnis, and Russia sided with the Shia and with Syria. Again, because it was practical and they just wanted to get their trade out. So one of those trade routes goes all the way to Iran from the Caspian Sea, and from there into Afghanistan. And from Afghanistan, there's a couple ways they get into Afghanistan. From Afghanistan, they have open border with China. They also have an open border with China through Mongolia. These are ancient trade routes. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to block the trade. Whether it's trade and moving into Afghanistan, parts of Mongolia. If you continue to look at the picture, you'll also see with the Chechnyan rebels, those are funded by Saudi Arabia, so he couldn't get trade out of Georgia. So what was happening was that people were ambushing his vehicles, his convoys. They were getting ambushed by Chechnyan rebels funded by the Saudi Arabians. This is why Putin hates us. So it all goes back to trade. Every time I meditate on Putin, it's about trade. So Flynn, Michael Flynn, I'll do a whole remote on him. He was fired for a couple of things. As I had said, I had done a remote and I'd found out that under Obama, the intelligence agency had intercepted communication between Michael Flynn and various different foreign governments, bad actors, and that is how they found out that Flynn had been compromised, and that is why he was removed from his job under Obama. And then they continued to monitor the situation, intercepting phone calls between various different people, trying to find out who was a Russian intelligence operative inside the Pentagon Homeland Security, which is the bigger investigation that is not public information. So what Putin has started to do is he started to do cyber wars, and these cyber wars are going to tackle every vulnerable country that does not have good cyber security. Some of the countries that he instilled his own government and he engaged in cyber war was Turkey, and he instilled Erdogan. Now, Flynn was working for the Turkish government, the pro-Russian Turkish government. The Turkey fell after World War I. They lost the Ottoman Empire. The Brits came in and took Palestine, which became a whole other mess. But what we need to know about Turkey is that Russia wanted Turkey. Russia wanted Turkey, and so Russia installed Erdogan. Then he was able to maintain trade with Turkey. Now, what Americans also don't know is that Russia was building a pipeline under the Black Sea, and he was going to pipe oil to Turkey, and he succeeded in doing that. I'll show you the article. And now the pipeline is going to be flowing from Russia to Turkey, and from Turkey to, you guessed it, those countries that collapsed because they didn't have good cybersecurity, because the Russians went in and collapsed their governments and installed oligarchs. Basically, Putin's goal is to have oligarchs all over the world. So Turkey now, through Turkish Stream, that's the name of the company, Turkish Stream, will be delivering oil to Hungary. He collapsed the Hungarian government. Greece, he encouraged the collapse of Greece by breaking up the EU, because the EU was an economic disaster that was putting a lot of pressure on Russia, collapsing NATO. He also helped install somebody in Poland. So the oligarchs who are behind Putin are Poland, Hungary, Turkey, now pushing to get fascists into Greece, and he's trying to rip apart France, Germany, Spain, and Britain with Brexit. The Brexit, I think it was started by 6 people. They got 6 seats in Parliament in Britain. And the money is now being linked to Putin. So the purpose was, again, to break up the EU. It was very clever. They started with hitting the more vulnerable countries, economically vulnerable. And now, once those collapsed, they're now going for the big guns. Excuse me, the big guns, which are France, Germany. And then he also instilled an oligarch in the United States, which was Donald Trump. Now, when I do a remote on Donald Trump, I had thought, oh, Donald Trump is compromised. This is the public story. He got compromised in 1987. But when I got into Donald Trump's energy during a remote, the answer I got back from Donald Trump was, oh, no, I've been dealing with Russians. I was first introduced to Russians when I went to business meetings with my father. So when Trump was very, very young, he accompanied his father on business meetings, and at that point he was compromised. Now, I want to say a little bit about the relationship with Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. It's like a love affair energetically. It feels like a love affair in the sense that it's a love affair between almost like a pimp and a prostitute. In the sense that what a pimp will do is they will groom a person who is the victim of child abuse or neglect, a weak person, a person who's weak-minded, a person that may have suffered from abuse, and groomed them and loved them and nurtured them and gave them what they thought they wanted, and then you have to do something for me. So what happened was that Putin gave Trump everything he wanted. He was laundering money out of Deutsche Bank. I think Trump was linked to $500 million. Now they've subpoenaed those documents. AEB Bank, which was sanctioned. But the oligarchs were buying up a lot of Trump property in Central America. They're very interested in the financial sector in New York. They want to have a little Putin Island in the financial district in New York. He's also begun to topple Brazil, I think, and parts of South America. Anywhere, Venezuela I think the United States were responsible for Venezuela. If you read books like Confessions of an Economic Hitman, this is something the Americans have done as well. We go into countries and we collapse their economics so that they can't do trade with Russia. So they were coming in, the Russians were, and they were collapsing trade in the West. So that's basically my remote. He feels that he is the future prophesied Tsar of Russia. He thinks the collapse of the Soviet Union was the biggest mistake that ever happened. And he feels it is his destiny to lead the future of Russia, to be the shining city on the hill that will shine its light upon the rest of us. And this is what's so terrifying about it. So I just want to briefly also say that when you do a remote and you look at cyber attacks coming in from other countries, he's gotten into our power grid. As much of a malignant narcissist as Putin is, and I think that he truly is a malignant narcissist, he likes war that doesn't kill people and destroy the planet and leave a lot of waste and destruction. The thing that he likes about these cyber wars is that he can topple countries and get what he wants in terms of trade routes, like what he did with Turkish Stream, without killing anybody. And so he finds killing people distasteful. He'd rather avoid it. It's not that he feels particularly bad about it, because he's a true believer and he truly believes that he is fulfilling the destiny of the Russian Orthodox Church. It's just that it's messy and he would rather do it this way. The love affair between him and Trump, like I said, this is more than just Trump being compromised. It feels as if he is truly a devotee. And that is a disturbing fact that I'm starting to come to as I do remotes, that I find the most disturbing part of being a remote viewer. He truly is devoted to Russia. So this is not just a compromised person. This is someone who truly has given his loyalty to the Kremlin. And that would make him a Russian operative. If there's anything more I would say about this, The feeling that Putin has is that by the time you see this and know this to be true, it will be too late. He will have taken Brazil, Hungary, Poland, France, Germany, Great Britain, the United States, and by the time we realize what he has done, it will be too late. So this is the scary truth of the remote viewing. And he has made his way deep, deep, deep into our intelligence agencies, hacking our power grids and other areas that are under security. The Mueller investigation is the tip of the iceberg. And this is the scary situation we find ourselves in right now. So we have to pray that the good people of our intelligence agencies can do what they have to do to get out of this. But it's a very scary time right now that we are living in world history, and this is the remote. So thank you for watching this remote, and I hope to do future remotes for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, so that was shot in 2019 when I had just begun to publicize this channel. Does anybody want to talk about the remote? Does anybody disagree with the remote? Is anybody scared? Because we failed, the intelligence agencies failed to take control of this situation. They failed to take control of Donald Trump after January 6th. Never mind what he did in 1994 when he more than likely signed a non-prosecutory agreement along with a bunch of other creeps that were hanging out with Epstein. So what's going on with our intelligence agencies? That's the real conversation. So that's why I say Trump is a symptom. He is not the disease. Does that make sense? So as Woodpile Witch points out, who's in charge of intelligence? Pro-Russians. Is that an accident? Is it an accident that these people that seem to be embedded in these intelligence agencies have been historically pro-Russian? There are other people we have to be concerned about, Chinese spies, etc. But the degree to which Putin did this is the thing that I think is so terrifying about the meeting that's taking place between Donald Trump and Putin in Alaska. You can be sure that Putin has his eyes on the Bering Strait. So the Bering Strait and cutting ice through the Bering Strait, right? So is this how they bypass sanctions? Creating new trade routes? Mother Russia. Taking back Alaska, cutting through the ice, right? Russian trade routes. What do you think? You scared? So people want to know, will the impossible happen? Will Harris become the president? No, Harris will not become the president. But had he not been involved, we probably would have seen a Hillary Clinton presidency, and we probably would have seen a Kamala Harris presidency. So we would have had a female president by now. Of course, neither of them was compromised by a foreign government. So that's a problem for Putin, right? Putin didn't like Hillary because Hillary was going to continue with Obama's policies of blocking Russian trade. So he had it out for her, right? All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to do the empath's prayer. We're going to give you a collective reading for the week, and I hope you'll enjoy it. If anybody would like to receive a healing, if anyone would like us to pray for them, if anyone would like us to pray for a family member or a friend, go ahead and give us your name or the name of the person you want us to pray for, and we will include them in our prayers. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. And for those of you today who are requesting a healing, we come together at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together as a community, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. May all souls be healed. All right, so we're now going to give you a collective reading. This is a smorgasbord of thoughts and ideas. It's kind of like sitting at a beautiful collective table. If it doesn't apply to you and you say, I don't like broccoli, just pass it down and maybe it belongs to somebody else at the table. As Carl Jung says, it all goes into the collective conscience and comes out the other end, right? Hopefully something in this reading will speak to you. What do you need to know today about the coming week? What do you need to know about the coming week? Okay, where we are at right now. Now is a time where we want to really focus on appreciation and strengthening our allies. If you have friends, people who you can rely on, people who you know you can trust, now is the time to let them know that you appreciate them. Now is a time for gratitude and appreciation and strengthening your partnerships in business, strengthening your partnership in friendship, anyone who you feel you can trust. Never take your safe people for granted. As we get older, we want to have a group of people that we can rely on, whether it's 5 people or 10 people. You take care of them, you check on them, they check on you. Who is your safety net? This is the first thing that Spirit wants to talk about. Do you have a safety net? If you have a safety net, how do you treat the people in your safety net? Do you check in on them? Do you let them know, I appreciate you. You're part of my safety net. Thank you. What can I do for you today? So the base of the matter is strengthening partnerships. The Karma card, 2 of Wands, importing, exporting, strengthening this community. How can I help you as a reader, as a remote viewer? I dedicate my life to this community. How can I help you stay on the straight and narrow? Stay off the streets. Take care of your physical health. Your physical health has a spiritual counterpart. The more you take care of your physical body, the more it will have an impact on your spiritual body, right? How can I use my skills to help empower you? So this is the question I ask myself. How can I be part of your safety net? So the base of the matter is the King of Pentacles, business, financial stability, a strong foundation, having your business in order. Everyone needs to own a business. Everybody needs to own a business, and everybody needs to be about their business. Everyone must have a family business. And that's because we cannot rely on other people to guarantee us a job. That family business may be babysitting somebody's cats, like my colleague Chuck Dransfield. He has a safety net of people. They watch his cats. He watches their cats, right? He makes sure that their cats take their medicine. They make sure his kitty cats, Sasha, is okay. So King of Pentacles is solid. It's the energy of the Taurus and the Capricorn. You can see that beautiful Taurus bull energy down there. It's strong. And also that nice Capricorn energy down there. So this is holding on to your money, being frugal, being grounded, being like a Swiss banker. You know, they have good lives, but they're very frugal. They're very smart with their money. They take care of a rainy day. Make sure when it's summer to prep the house for winter. When summer comes, prep for winter. Make sure you're packing those vegetables. Make sure you're putting them in canning. Make sure that your house is not going to be affected by future floods, right? So the King of Pentacles teaches us to have a strong foundation, to be smart with our money, to be stable so that the winds of change do not move us. And your Karma card is work with others, both near and far, to create the kind of a stability so that nothing will blow your house down. So we have trade and partnership, and we have business. Well, that's very interesting. That's very interesting indeed. I want to know more. Tell me more, Spirit. This is something I hadn't been thinking about for a while. What is my safety net? What color is your parachute, right? What parachute do you have? Do you have a way of bringing in an extra $300, $400, $500? If worse came to worse and that beautiful house burned down, would you have a way to get out of Dodge? Do you have a plan B? Do you have an emergency bag in the event of an earthquake, a flood? Say, for example, Mount St. Helens blows up or Yellowstone blows up. Do you have a way to get into your car and get to safety? Oh, hi, Colleen. Your first house at this time is the Empress. Rely on your creative skills. I've been asked if artificial intelligence is going to take away the jobs. Absolutely not. artificial intelligence will create a new type of jobs. An example of this is when we got the home computer. And everybody thought that all kinds of terrible things were going to happen when we got the home computer. Well, my home computer was broken. I bought a defective home computer from Apple, so I had to go to the Apple store in order to get my home computer fixed. And when I got to the Apple store, there were 100 employees there. So 100 people just on the floor of the Apple computer store on Pioneer Square in Portland, young people, some of them middle-aged, had jobs because of home computers. So with the new technology came new jobs. Hundreds and thousands and millions of people who are working from home computers or selling computers or repairing computers. So what happened with the home computer was the creation of millions and millions of jobs, right? Including working from home. So humans will always work. It's important for us to realize that humans will always work. We will not lose jobs because of artificial intelligence. What we will have is new ways of doing things. And with that comes new types of jobs. The Empress comes to you in the first house. Well, because humans love to work. Look at how much time you spend in front of that home computer. Did it make life easier? No. Now people are working 16 hours a day in front of their home computer as opposed to chopping wood, right? But we're still working. But the nature of our work has changed. So we will not stop working, but the nature of our work will change. Now, your first house is the Empress, which is a time of creativity, abundance, and wealth. So it's important for you to recognize that the one thing that makes humans different than computers is the ability to create. Yes, we can use computers to write an article, but ultimately we are the creator who has to tell the computer what to do. And so your greatest asset from a spiritual perspective is your ability to create, whether it's writing a book or creating a piece of art or coming up with your own creative, unique way to make money. So draw on your creativity to find solutions to your life right now. Your crossing card, within 1 year, everything will be fine so long as you rely on your creative skills to help you get where you need to go. The swords are years as I teach it in my class. The Ace of Swords is associated with January 1st, the first of the year. We can see the Yud, which is a Hebrew letter. I think it equals 10 and breaks down to a 1, but it's tears. So the person is crying, they've suffered, they've struggled. You can see the ice and that frozen ice on the tops of the mountains. And it's been chiseled like a piece of ice, that Ace of Swords. Metal is the element, and it's associated with grief, lungs, large intestine in Chinese medicine. So what we see with the Ace of Swords is the person who gets the laurel wreath and the crown of being a survivor after the tears of all the hard work that they have done. You carry the crown. This is an important year for you to focus on your creativity, your independence. Learn what you can about AI. It's a wonderful tool that can help you make money and help you advance your career. It is not your enemy. It is something that you can make peace with and succeed at if you make an effort. This year is very important to your creativity. And if you draw on your creativity, if you draw on working with your allies, you'll do very well this year. What is above you? Let it go. The Hangman stands in the 4th house, the energies that are coming in, that which you cannot control, the past. If sitting around and bitching about what he, she, they said in 1984, or I do this, I have a really good memory and it's been my curse. My ex-boyfriends are always like, I can't believe you remember that. but I remember it like it happened yesterday, right? Well, this doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve me. And not only that, but it holds me back from the future that I could be creating. And so let the crap go. Hang it up. Now that is associated with the Lamed. The Lamed is the, is it the 12th letter? I always thought it was the 20th. It's the 12th letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Did y'all know that? Yes, it is. And so when we see the Lamed, we're seeing the shape of the hanged man. And I think that's really, really cool. So I always like to show people the hanged man. You can see that Lamed shape, the 12th letter. And because the creator of the Rider-Waite, the artist, a woman of color who got no credit and didn't get paid, by the way, just goes to show things were as crappy back then as they are now for people of color. But you can take a look here under the number 12. What do you see? What do you see? You see the hangman. See how brilliant Coleman was? Do you see how brilliant she was? She was a genius, but you weren't allowed to be a genius and a woman, and particularly a woman of color. So they threw her stuff in the trash. And now the leading person we draw on when we do tarot cards is the work of Coleman, right? But there is the Lamed that she created. Isn't that beautiful? And you can see it right here. There is the Lamed. Let it go. Lo bishvili. Lo is no in Hebrew. Not for me. Lo bishvili. Right? Let it go. If it does that which does not serve you, why are you holding on? If it doesn't serve you, if it's giving you an ulcer, why are you holding on to it? What you sit in and marinate. Poverty, can't let it go. The guy that drug you down, he cost me so much damn money. If I had never gotten involved with him, I wouldn't have lost my house. I wouldn't, if I had gotten involved with her, he, she, them. Oh, he drugged me down into the poorhouse. I'm never going to come back. What he did to me, oh, look at him. He's such a damn loser. And he's sitting there pulling, I don't even have any damn shoes. And you want me to buy you a latte? Are you crazy? Right? So 5 of Pentacles is a poverty card, but it's also a spiritual card about being locked out of the light because somebody's dragging me down. The church light is on, but where the hell is the door? We're freezing out here. So it can be holding on to the past or ideas that keep you from the light. Who cares about what already happened? The truth is you learned a lot from that relationship. Now use those skills to go forward. Be grateful that you learned those lessons and move on. If he didn't pay you back then, he's not going to pay you back tomorrow, right? He, she, they. But you learned some hard lessons by being in that awful, crappy relationship, right? Your past placement. I'm always taking care of other people and they never take care of me. 6 of Pentacles. Give. But I want justice, gosh darn it. I want justice absolute, right? 6 of Pentacles is to give. And this is also Social Security, social workers card, candy stripers, right? With the stripes, giving out the candy, giving out the money. And it's also Libra. It's the number 6, home and hearth. And the balance of the scales. I will have justice. I'm not going to lose my damn Social Security over that fruitcake in the White House, right? So this idea of the past that it should have been fair. Was it ever fair? Or are we just finding out how unfair it was? Remember, these crimes that we're finding out about took place 30, 40 years ago. What we're entering into is a time of deep contemplation and meditation, learning to let things go and go deeper into the self. Where do dreams come from? We have a dream and then we have no idea how the dream was created. I had another dream with Paul Simon in it. Every damn night this week, I've been dreaming about Paul Simon. I have no idea why. Why did my brain construct a dream, a world where I'm hanging out talking about politics with Paul Simon. Last night I had a dream where I was hanging out talking to Paul Simon saying, why didn't you ever run politically? Like I actually had that conversation. He's like, no, I'd rather endorse liberal candidates, right? So I was having this conversation with Paul Simon in my dream. But the question I asked myself is, what part of my brain that I'm not consciously aware of is creating these dreams? And so the purpose of Four of Swords is to unite your brain, to go deep into the self, to find out why we create the things we create. Where we are at, looking beyond the horizon, our wish comes to us. The Three of Wands is about your ship coming in. Your wish will be granted. Work hard this year and stop burning calories on the past. It's not going to help you get to where you need. All you have to do is be in the moment. And what do I need to do now in order to get to where I want to get to? If you don't know where you want to get to, chant, meditate. Ask yourself, what do I need to do to be happy? What do I want? What do I want? What do I need? What do I need? And then construct for yourself a year of manifesting. Work with your partners. Find out who your allies are, your green light people. Look beyond the horizon. Dream big. Spend a year doing the work. Hang up the things of the past that are draining your time and your energy that you cannot change. Be stoic. The world is not always fair, but what can you do right now to rectify it? Your opposition at this time is the King of Wands, territory. Remember, wands are time and space. King of Wands is that Leo, Aries, Sag, my space, damn it. I'm taking over. This aggressive Mars energy in the red of Aries, right? My way or the highway, baby, right? So we feel encroached. We're trying to fight for space and they're taking away our space. This aggressive yang energy, our hope and our fear, brokenhearted. We acknowledge our hearts are broken. Acknowledge that your heart is broken. But now is the time to find solutions. Starting with eating right. If you have are heartbroken, are you on Eat to Live by Joel Fuhrman? If you aren't, you should be. Caldwell Esselstyn, Forks Over Knives. 40, 50 years of research, right? You have the control and you have the power to age in reverse, to heal your body, to live to 120 healthfully. We now have the science and the technology to do that. This is the best of times, not the worst of times, if you make the right choices. And the final outcome for you is you will grow wise beyond measure. If you do what Spirit has advised you to do, you will be wise beyond measure. You will be the high priestess. Bina and Chachma in Hebrew, wisdom and understanding. Wisdom and understanding. These are the Sephirot, the Sfirot, the energies manifested by the high priestess. So when we teach it in class, we talk about the energies of the endless light of God, and that each has a particular function in your life as you sit in meditation and you attempt to connect with those energies inside yourself. Bina and Chachma, wisdom and understanding. Keter is the crown chakra. Meditating on all these energies moving through your body, giving you wisdom. If you do what the universe has advised you to do, the world will be yours. The clarification, warning about grief. Resolve your grief, but do not dwell in it. This too shall pass. The tyrants will pass. but you're learning great spiritual lessons because of this. Your hope and fear, you must temper your life. Eat right, take care of yourself, get out and breathe clean air. Sobriety to heal the broken heart. And the final outcome again is the hermit and the high priestess. So the hermit is associated with scholarship. This is a time to learn. This is a time to take power and control over your life and to serve others. If you do what Spirit is advising you to do, you will achieve everything you want to achieve and more. And you will live a very long life, and you will age in reverse. The high priestess and the hermit is very powerful. You can have both. You can be the great scholar, and you can be the person who carries the wisdom and understanding to future generations. And that is your reading. I hope it gave you clarity. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to blitz away. Remember, a blitz is a 5-minute 4-card reading. It's the 7th and 8th, 9th and 10th cards in a Celtic cross spread. Those people who want to know how to do a blitz. L'chaim, l'chaim. Looks like crap, but tastes great. Yum, yum, yum. I'm waiting to get the order to blitz away. While I'm doing that, I'm going to have this coffee. Delish. Nothing better than Pete's. Did I tell you all I'm going to Guatemala? It's a cheap vacation. I got a 4-star hotel, 8 days with flight, $1,000, and it comes with breakfast. Hello. So excited, so excited. Did I get the order to blitz away yet? Oh, I did. Looks like an earth helper has come in and given me guidance. Well, awesome. Thank you, earth helper. If you hadn't come away, if you hadn't been here, I never would have done the blitzes. You see, I got to get the order to blitz. All right, let's do this thing. Okay, let's talk about why wasn't Zelensky invited in the Putin-Trump meeting? Because Putin is reminding Trump, you owe me. Remember the agreement we made? That's a private conversation. I did this for you. I pay your bills. I get you out of debt. I give you money. No money, no honey. You want honey? You get the money, right? No money, no honey. So I bailed you out. You declared your loyalty to Mother Russia. So where's the loyalty? I thought you were a true believer, right? Will the 2020? No, it will not. It will not. And why won't it be? Because the people who stole the election are the people in power. Yeah. I know there are a lot of readers saying that because it's what people want to hear, and nobody has the heart to tell people the truth, but it's probably Trump's health that's going to take him out. So if they issue Article 25, he can have his dignity and leave like a mensch, if you could call it that, or they will drag him out because his health is deteriorating pretty quickly. I mean, there are a lot of people that would advise him not to fly given his medical problems. Flying is a problem, and if he's flying all over the place on Air Force One, that's a problem medically. Congestive heart failure. and risk for deep venous thrombosis. Will RFK Jr. halt to certain vaccines be overturned? What a fruitcake. Oh my God, let's take a look. This is a problem because it's putting our security at risk, but it's also putting our health and safety at risk, right? RFK and his destruction of the CDC. You know, if a virus hit the United States, would we be able to handle it? I don't know. The CDC under RFK. Let's do it. Viruses. There's a virus coming. I read this as a virus because it's the angry wind. Wei Qi, or the immune system, is called Wei Qi, and it's an attack of metal element. Remember, the metal element is associated with the lungs. Let's take a look at that real quickly here for everybody, in case you missed that. 5 o'clock today, we have class, by the way. That's Pacific Daylight Time. Don't be late. So we can see when we look at metal, which is associated with the sores, that the lungs are attacked, and the intestines, the nose, and the skin. So when we have angry wind, we have the Knight of Swords. And this can be a virus or an infection. We're asking about the CDC. They're saying that we have a virus over us. Could be a new strain of COVID. Wouldn't it be ironic if that's what took out our RFK Jr. was a virus? The opposition to the virus, 8 of Wands. Something's going to hit in August. We're going to start hearing about a new disease, which makes sense because Indian summer is right around the time that we start to see these viruses peaking. Kids get together during spring break, they get together at summer break, and they're little petri dishes, right? And so by the time the end of summer, we've reached a tipping point, right, in the number of people exposed, and then at that point we have an epidemic. So we're looking at a problem with a virus outbreak this late August, probably. Hopes and fears are partnerships with the world. Now is the time, if it's like you have to go to another country to get medical attention. You have to go to Mexico. You have to go to Thailand. People are going to other countries to get it's cheaper to get on a plane and go to another country than to get medical care here in the United States. It's interesting that the 2 of Wands, which has to do with global partnership, is what's coming in. So we could be having to seek help from other countries because our own public health is in so much trouble. And the final outcome is a heavy load lay ahead for the CDC. You have to realize that they've cut the CDC so much that they aren't able to function and operate normally. I'm seeing a virus coming, and I think we're going to hear about it in August. I'm seeing grief over this virus. A judgment. For every action, there's a reaction. Our own ignorance and refusal to take responsibility for the potential for these kinds of pandemics leads to a possible disaster. We're also in trouble. Look, if anything's going to block Americans from getting out of the United States, it's other countries preventing us from traveling because of restrictions, because we're not vaccinated. Could be a halt of travel. Even if you want to get out of the United States, I'm sorry, we can't allow you in. You're coming in from a country that's got a pandemic. That's part of the epidemic. That's part of the pandemic. So we can't let you into Iceland. We can't let you into France. Halting of visas potentially could result. And the final outcome is wisdom of the high priestess, wisdom and understanding. We will have to be bailed out by other people if we continue in this route. But we could also see a halting, just like we couldn't get out during the COVID. There was no flying, no way to leave the country. We were trapped in the United States during COVID. The same thing could happen again. Yeah. Very scary. You know, he thinks that if you chew on brown rice, you're not going to get these diseases. And it just doesn't work like that. Some viruses are very virulent and it doesn't matter. Yes. So the latest news out of Israel, Israel does not, there's a lot of fake news. So let's talk about it. There is not going to be a takeover of Gaza by the Israelis. The Israelis do not want to do that because when Israel was taking over Gaza and left in 2004, 2005, they were tired of people dying in terrorist attacks. The purpose is to stabilize and get rid of terrorists so that the Arab nations can come in and monitor until they're able to function on their own. But they can't, they have to have a military. They have to have a foreign military in there that's Western friendly, like United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, because if they don't, Russia and Iran will come back in and the problem will start all over again. So, no, he has basically said the purpose is not to take Gaza. What we are going to do is we are going to open up no man's land to an oasis. And no man's land is the 2-mile stretch that is a barrier between Gaza and Israel that had to be erected because of Hamas. But we don't need to have that anymore, because if Hamas is gone, then Israel can take that area of 2 miles and create farms and kibbutzes. And this is the Israeli side, and this is the Gazan side. And these can become oasis zones for Israel and Palestinians and Gazans to share the land. And that will open up hundreds and hundreds of square kilometers for Gaza and for Israel. And so it ultimately will be quite profitable for both parties involved. And that can't happen until Hamas is gone. Now Hamas is saying that they want to do negotiate a deal because Israel is basically saying, take the offer or we're going to take you out. And so what happened was that the data, they had the data for years and years and years because, and the only reason I found out was because I was one of the people that started playing with supercomputers a couple of years ago to try and find out how it was most likely going to play out. And Hamas and the communications broke down, but more than likely they'll get to cease fire and then Hamas will leave to a host country. Then we can adopt the rebuild. But Gaza itself is not going to be part of Israel. It's going to transition to local government with pro-Western military protecting the area for the people so that Iran and Russia don't come in. And we can see here step 4 is that Putin needs to be arrested. So if you go against that, then you're basically going against the data. You know, it would be great if we arrested Putin when he was in Alaska. Wouldn't that be great? It would totally take care of the problem. Thank you, Sally. Oh, China just announced a virus? Great. What do you know? Yes, Hamas is always using Palestinians as human shields. I could show you some gruesome film footage, but I don't think anybody wants to see people having their kneecaps shot off and all the other horrible things that have been done to the people of Gaza by Hamas. It's pretty horrible. The people of Gaza do not like Hamas, contrary to what you might hear. Oh, right. Will Texas declare well, they did initially when they thought that they were going to build stuff, but then when they saw that Hamas was corrupted and stealing all the money for themselves and that the people were living in crap, then they stopped supporting Hamas. Will Texas declare martial law? Well, that's pretty crazy. Let's take a look. Will Texas declare martial law? First house is Two of Swords. You know, Texas is holding on for dear life. They should have been nice to the Latino community because many Latinos would have been Republicans, right? They don't believe in abortion. They're devout Catholic, many of them. And so why are you making enemies of potential allies? Doesn't even make any sense. So you have the Two of Swords here, which is a blocking. They're attempting to block things. This is part of the gerrymandering we're seeing. And the King of Pentacles, business, the star state, the Lone Star State, deep in the heart of Texas. And the final outcome is the green economy. The future of Texas is clean water, no more cattle. I'm sorry. I know y'all love your cattle. But instead, we're looking at the new green economy. And Texas is going to be a forest. They're going to be expanding their forest because of the new ecology that's coming in. So I read Seven of Pentacles as the new green economy. Everything will be fine in Texas. And the reason is because the big money is in eco-friendly companies. When we talk about the green economy, we're talking about companies that work with the planet and help the planet. That's where the big money is at. And the people of Texas, the investors in Texas are starting to realize that. So everything from lab-grown steaks to water resources, and we're just moving slowly away from plastic, and we're moving slowly away from petrochemicals, etc., because environmentally friendly ways of doing things is much more profitable for Texas long term. And that's eventually what's going to happen to Texas and to the rest of the world, because that's the new science and that's the new economy. Okie dokie, let's keep this party going. If you haven't had a chance to like, share, and subscribe, I'd be forever grateful. Will the GOP or Democratic parties gain more seats after the gerrymandering? I think it's very likely. I think it is very, very likely, unfortunately. Let's take a look. 10 of Cups. Ooh, I see happy families in Texas and a deal being struck. The Great Negotiator, King of Wands, a desire for territory. And the final outcome is they will have to abandon some of their goals. Something's going to happen in Texas that's going to thwart their efforts. Interesting. Interesting. It could be that there are consequences on, it's like Vice President Harris had said, the system is very, very broken. And it could be that regular people have had enough, because to walk away from what they have built is the future. They're going to have to give some stuff up. Yeah. Well, that's good. Regarding Texas, Alaska purchased by Secretary of State Seward, called Seward's Folly on March 30th, 1867. But was it a folly? Was it really a folly? I think it's great. Yes, he wants Alaska because of Ukrainian drones, but he also wants the oil and the resources. There's oil in the permafrost, right? But also he feels that he has a right to it, right? He's a wealthy man. He robs, steals, and this is just another thing to rob and steal. Will all Americans involved with Putin be brought to justice? What do you guys think? Do you think that they'll be brought to justice? We'll do one more. Refusal to prosecute. Two of Swords. Ooh, they fear. They fear the truth coming out. Hopes and fears. King of Swords. And then the final outcome is Six of Wands. It's, it's like a civil war in the United States, isn't it? A lot of stuff is going to come out in another 10, 15 years. It's a feeling that things will start to emerge. Information will start to come out about everything that happened as more time passes. But I think that a president is coming to the White House. I think it's going to be a Democrat that is going to make things a lot smoother and better. I think in 2028, we're seeing a new president. I don't know if it's going to be Cooper or Buttigieg or who it's going to be, but America will find its way back. America will find its way back. Yeah. All right, everybody. Did you have fun? Did you have fun today? Yes, you can. You just got to do Eat to Live. Eat to Live by Joel Fuhrman. Live forever. Why die? Why die when you can live and be happy and see the world and have more energy than you know what to do with? All right, everybody. That's right. Moderates will rule. Either it's just a time of moderation. You know what it looks like when I go into the future of America? It looks like Sweden. It just looks like a very balanced, sane, rational country that isn't trying to take over the world, that is focused on eco-friendly business, focuses heavily on innovation. It's a lot of what Elon Musk has talked about. It's, Elon used to not be so crazy. It's really painful. People that knew him back in the day, he used to be such a cool guy, shy and nerdy, hanging out with girls from Berkeley. He didn't care that his daughter was trans. He hung out with a lot of people LGBTQ in San Francisco. He didn't have any of these psychological problems, right? He just wanted to hang around other inventors, and then he just went crazy, got into drugs, and I don't know. But when he talked about money that is going into, this is before he went crazy, but all this money that's going into defense, going into innovation and research and technology and creating the good life for Americans, he was saying something that I do see for the future of the United States, like Sweden, like Norway, really wanting the best for our citizens and not feeling like we have to take over the world, but just being a very solid country that has values that it can be proud of. And that's really, I agree with Elon about that. I wish he would get well. I really do, because he used to be a really beautiful person. And I know that's in there somewhere, right? Hope we have to pray maybe he will get over this crazy phase he's in. All right, you guys, I am out of here. I got people to see, places to go. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. I will be back Tuesday at 5 o'clock with my sidekick, Chuck Dransfield. It should be pretty cool. cool meeting. We are having a Book of the Month Club get together. I was reading it in my bed. Very fascinating, very fascinating. She talks about going to an ER and, you know, how she's met incredibly enlightened people, like a doctor at the ER that was this spiritually enlightened person who talks about, you know, doing everything to make sure his patients don't die. And she was like, God, you know, you meet enlightened people everywhere. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this book, and the stories she tells and how we we unscrew our minds, basically. Anyway, so the book is How the Tin Man Found His Brain by Danut Debney Shaw. It's excellent. She's a very, very good writer, and she'll be in our studios. The show starts at 5 p.m., and then our Book of the Month, Chuck and Whimsy's Book of the Month Club, is starting at 6 o'clock. I think, you know, we usually give the author 30 minutes. I think it's going to definitely go over, though, because I've got a million questions for her. But you still have time to get the book. You can order it on Amazon, and I think you're going to find it very, very enlightening. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out, and we will see you next time. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything. All right. Oh, I'm so glad. I hope it was. It was given from the heart. All right. Bye, everyone.